Welcome to Nestology. We are your hosts. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Shelley.
And today, Shelley is going to share with us about down payment assistance programs.
Woohoo! Fun stuff.
A lot of people ask about these, but we want to make sure that you have all the information. So if you're thinking about buying a house, we want you to be informed to know what your options are. Because nothing is as simple as it sounds.
Exactly.
Things are complicated.
I know. So that's why we're talking about this today.
Yes.
So we can shed a little light on how down payment assistance works.
Yes. So get us started.
Okay.
How does it work, Shelley?
How does it work? Okay. So the purpose when people ask me about down payment assistance is because they are looking for assistance with closing costs and down payment monies. So there are programs out there and they are all different. There's multiple different types of programs. So when somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, we're looking for down payment assistance, there's quite a few things that I need to go through in order to figure out, if they qualify for specific programs and specific areas.
Shelley, I just want down payment assistance. Can you help me? Do I qualify? You don't need to know my name or my phone number
I need
or
to know
anything.
all the things for down payment assistance because, so just so you understand, so like I said, each particular program has different income limitations, right? So if you make a good amount of money, you may not qualify for down payment assistance, okay? So you're looking at specific areas. There are some programs that I need to know, like, okay, what area are you looking for a home? Because there are some of the programs, for example, are not available in McKinney or Grand Prairie. I mean, random things like that.
Yeah.
Travis County, which is near Austin. So we really need to, dive in deep with all the details. So they have credit score requirements that are higher than normal loan types. So we're kind of looking at all of those specific details. But one of the things that I really wanted to mention is how the down payment assistance programs work. Sounds great to get, so-called free money, right?
Nothing's free.
Nothing is free. So there is no free lunch. So the way they actually work is they raise the interest rate, right, over what current market rate is in order to basically cover this assistance amount. And it could be anywhere from a 3% assistance, 4%, 5% assistance. So depending on the loan type that you have, there are different levels, but the higher the assistance that they provide, the higher the interest rate.
Right.
Okay. So when you talk about this free money, there are also limitations. So what I mean by that is the money is so-called free and given to you as long as you don't move for 3 years.
That's a big one.
You also can't refinance. And that's a big one that we're going to start seeing soon, right? Because where rates are right now, and, think about it. Let's just say you have down payment assistance and your interest rate is half a point higher than current market rates. Maybe you're at a 7.5%. That's what you closed at. But if you refinance within 3 years, you got to pay some of that money back, if not all of it.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of little things and nuances that you need to be aware of with down payment assistance types programs. They definitely help a lot of people, but you need to be aware of, kind of all the different little details about it.
Yeah, I've seen that. I had a seller who had to pay hers back. And I don't know which program it was, but she had her mortgage to pay off and the down payment assistance to pay back.
Yes.
And hers had been a while. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know which one, but she had been in that house for over 5 years and had to still pay some back.
Yes. Well, there's also some of the programs, they are a repayable version.
Okay.
So they're not just free. Some of them, the only options for particular people, depending on the qualifications, are a second mortgage payment. And it's repayable.
Gotcha.
So then there's that.
Yeah.
And
I've seen some too where like they have to do like a course online or something.
Yes. They all have courses.
They all do. Okay.
And they're typically not free.
Okay. So that's another thing to consider.
Yeah. Sometimes, they've got to pay money for it and it can be up to like $60 to take the class because we have to have that certification showing that they took this specific class.
Yeah.
Yes.
How often does it usually take? I mean, do you know how many hours it is?
It's not long at all.
Okay.
It's not long.
Okay.
It's very quick. People do it over a weekend or something. But
okay.
It might just be a few hours.
Okay.
I don't know the specific time frame. It's not like 12 hours or something crazy. And it's online and it's not in person.
That's good.
Yeah.
Makes it pretty easy.
It's easy, to do. So, a lot of times when people are asking me for down payment assistance, I really want to kind of go through all the details, right? I'll figure out which program will work for them. Then we'll talk about that. And then I also do like to talk about, what is another option? Because as a lender, I can raise my interest rate to give money back to the borrower.
That's kind of the same thing that these are doing because they're going to be higher interest.
But you just won't have all the other little gotchas.
Okay. Is there a big difference in that? Like, why would you maybe do the down payment assistance over?
You could potentially get more money with the down payment assistance. But, let's just say in this environment, if the real estate agent is able to get some closing costs covered.
Yes.
And I can cover, some cost as well. Now, the only difference there is that the seller and the lender, we're not able to pay the portion of the down payment.
Right.
We can cover the closing costs. So if the buyer happens to have enough for the, whatever it is, 3% down payment, 3.5% down payment, if we can get, the closing costs covered, a lot of times that will help.
Yeah.
Right? Because then also with, for example, an FHA loan, a buyer can get their down payment gifted to them from a family member.
Yeah.
So there's kind of some other options and some other ways that I like to look at it just to kind of compare. A lot of times I can get a lower interest rate without all these extra restrictions.
Yeah.
Even if I raise my rate to cover some of the cost. So,
right.
Yeah. You just want to be in the know on these kind of programs because a lot of people tend to really think like, oh, it's free money.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of strings attached. You just want to be aware.
Yeah. And I see that too from people. They're like, well, tell me about these programs, which, of course I have to send them to you because I don't have all the details, but it's not that it's a need. It's just, can I get some free money?
Right.
And so I see some people asking, they don't actually qualify for any of these, but I don't think they realize how many strings are attached and that it's not free. You're still paying for it somewhere.
You absolutely are. And that's how they're doing is basically, the interest rate is higher than current market rate. So that's how the down payment assistance programs, are basically making their money.
Yeah.
Is by raising the rate.
Because nobody just gives away money for free just because they're kind and they want to help you.
I know. Well, now here's also the other side of it that people don't realize. So each down payment assistance programs, they have their own fees. So in addition to the regular fees to close, right, I also have to charge, most of them are 1%. So think about this. If they have to charge 1%, we have all our regular fees. So now all of a sudden the buyer is paying 1% higher in fees. And let's say they get a 3% down payment. Well, 1% of it is gone.
Yeah.
Because of the fees are higher. So you got higher fees, higher interest rate, higher monthly payment, and potentially, a lot of these restrictions. Then you've got money to pay for the class that we talked about, the online certification. So,
well, then what we talked about to begin with, that risk of, you may plan to be in the house for a few years, but how often we see this where something happens, there's a relocation, a death in the family. I've seen so many people build like a beautiful custom home that they think is their forever home, and they're out of there in a year because they have to move across the country.
True.
So you have to assume that if there's that contingency that you may have to pay that back.
Absolutely. So, in theory, it's a great idea, but talk to your lender about maybe some other options.
Be open. I would say that all the time. Be open and listen.
Absolutely. Because, it's not really truly what you think.
Yeah. Well, but everybody thinks it's lenders are lazy.
Oh my!
I've heard that one before. People are like, "Oh no, I've talked to lenders and they're too lazy to do the down payment assistance programs."
Yes. Well, and I can kind of understand why they would think that. It's only because it is a lot of work.
For everybody.
It is. It's because, like I said, each particular program, I have to dive into multiple program guidelines because just in case, something changed. So it's always an ongoing, like, okay, I've got to look at the Seth program. I've got to look at Chenoa. I've got, all these different TSHAC. There's all these different programs that I've got to dive into the guidelines. So, so I can see why they would say that. So
it is more work.
Would say, I just don't do it. They definitely are much more of a challenge. But also the other side of that is from a lender's perspective, we don't always feel like it's the best idea.
Yeah. Not because you don't want to work, but
because we don't want to work.
Of all the things we talked about.
We know all these things. It's going to be a higher payment, a higher interest rate, going to be higher fees. you're not going to be able to refinance out of this for a while.
Yeah.
You might have to pay some of it back if you move. So we already know these things.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to be negative or down about these particular programs, because I have had clients that it worked for.
Yeah.
Right? It's just really understanding all the details.
Yeah. And that's, I think, why, with most of our mutual clients, we've ended up where, yes, you raised the rate instead of going through those programs, or we get it as closing cost assistance from the sellers or some other way
gift
to make
funds from a family member, that kind of thing, without all of the other hoops.
Yeah. Well, and I do know there can be some lenders who just, like you said, don't do things because it's more difficult, or maybe they're lazy, because I've seen some lazy lenders. But take the time. If you have a good lender, they should go through all of it with you and make sure that you know all your options. Because I know that even if it's hard, you do it.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
You've done mobile home loans for me.
Okay, do we need to talk about that? I said that was only for you.
That Shelly has had some difficult ones, and even when she says, I am never doing another, mobile home properties are a struggle, and they are a lot of work for the lender. Well, for all of us involved.
Yes.
And Shelly will sit there and go, I swear I'm never doing another mobile home. And then I call her and I'm like, Shelly, I've got a mobile home. She's like, I will do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
A good lender is willing to do the work if it is the right thing for you.
Absolutely.
So just get a good, awesome lender like Shelly, and you'll be good.
Oh my gosh, well, you're sweet. Well, we do have to do our research. So, it's like on a normal situation when I'm going through a pre-approval with somebody, typically we can, wrap a pre-approval up, on the phone as we're discussing the loan application, assuming we have all documents and all the numbers work. But with the down payment assistance, I have the conversation, I figure out kind of what the goals are, but then I have to do my research and figure out which program is best and then get back to them. So it does take me, an extra 24 hours to kind of dive into all the different programs and things to make sure. Yes, I'm happy to do so.
I know you are. Well, thank you guys for joining us. If you do have questions about these programs, I'll have Shelly's info, in the show notes, so you guys can reach out to her and discuss all the things we talked about today. So
yes, absolutely. Feel free to reach out anytime.
Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, where we help you make the best of your nest.
Bye.
Bye.